Gareth Bale recently commented on his plans for the future, and it got Spurs, Real Madrid, and neutrals all talking. His lone season at his old club has perhaps not reached the shimmering heights that were dreamt up by Spurs fans, but with recent improvements, these comments may have been a disappointment to some. Hey, I'm Adrian, and welcome to Rabona TV. Today, I'm very curious to get your guys' opinion on what you make of Gareth Bale's recent comments concerning his future, and if you think that his signing should be a priority for Daniel Levy and Tottenham. Do fire away below, and of course, I'll give you all of the facets of this situation in order for you to have a well-rounded opinion, his comments, what Mourinho has said about him in the past, his performance, injuries, everything. Even my own opinion. But hey, don't take my opinion into account. Maybe leave yours and then listen to mine. And if you're finding us for the first time and you want to find your way back for more videos like this, deep dives into various topics in the football world, Champions League previews, and more, then hit that subscribe button. All right, let's go. And so the first things first, the comments in question. Bale hasn't given many interviews since joining Tottenham. In fact, during the Europa League, which by UEFA ruling often has the coach and a player of the given team made available to the press, Bale hasn't even appeared in this capacity, one of the competitions he's frequented a ton. In fact, according to Spurs correspondent Alasdair Gold, he hasn't spoken to the written media once since joining Spurs back in September. I've linked to Alasdair's article below. He's absolutely worth checking out if you're a Spurs fan, man. He has a great YouTube channel as well. He's a superb journalist. In fact, if you're a Spurs fan, I'm sure you follow him already. But just in case you don't, he's linked below in the description. Anyway, Bale spoke to the media while on international duty with Wales, as he often does, and when asked about whether the uncertainty over his future will be a distraction for him with Wales at Euro 2020, he said, quote, "There's no distraction for me. I think the main reason I came to Spurs this year was to play football first and foremost. Going into the Euros, I wanted to be match fit. The original plan was to do a season at Spurs, and after the Euros, still have a year left at Real Madrid. My plan is to go back. That's as far as I have planned." Given that, as stated before, he hasn't spoken much at all since joining Spurs, there hasn't been much of a barometer of how he's been feeling or any indication of what he may be planning to do once this one-year loan deal is up. But let's look back at his season so far with Spurs. As mentioned in the intro, the thought of bringing in Gareth Bale and having him fit into the right wing position will have understandably had Spurs supporters' collective minds racing with optimism. A player who has performed on the biggest stage throughout his career, returning to the club that helped build him up to the sparkling standards of Real Madrid, only for him to get put on the naughty step in recent years at said club, though he's still showing signs that he is a very effective player. His pace, his power, and class on the ball was an immediate upgrade, or at least on paper, slotting into the attack alongside Kane and Son to make a stunning counter-attacking trademark Mourinho side. That's where everyone's minds were headed when he was signed. But we didn't get to see an inkling of that until about February, about 5 months after his loan signing. Why was that? Well, first of all, Kane arrived at the club injured. Transfermarkt notes that he had a knee issue that kept him out of the side from arrival until about mid-October, following the international break, meaning he missed the first 3 matches of the Premier League season that he was available for. Of course, both of the Europa League qualifiers he also missed, and the 4th round League Cup victory over Chelsea. His debut was an 18-minute cameo against West Ham before he was an unused sub against Burnley, probably thanks in large part to Bale getting his first start for Tottenham in the Europa League group stage opener around that same time. You know, they wanted to keep him fresh. But that would turn out to be a common pattern for the first few months at Tottenham. It seemed as if Bale was mainly reserved for Tottenham's matches against the likes of Ludogorets, Lask, and Royal Antwerp, as he started every match in the Europa League, while spending a puzzling amount of time on the bench domestically, often an unused sub. In the Premier League, he's made 12 appearances, playing for 556 minutes, an average of 46 minutes per appearance. He was an unused substitute in 9 of the 21 Premier League matches he dressed for. And I guess for balance sake, he has appeared in 2 of the 3 possible FA Cup matches Spurs have played, and 1 of their League Cup matches. His contributions on the pitch have seen him score 10 goals and provide 3 assists from 25 appearances, though his recent form has been excellent. Starting in mid-February or so, he went on a run that saw him score 6 goals in 6 matches. Not bad. But why so late? Why is this? What prevented him from getting into the squad earlier? Is it something Mourinho had against him? First and foremost, the injuries don't help, as Bale's career has been ravaged by them, and they have played a part in a bit of a different way, according to Mourinho. Back on February 11th, prior to Bale catching fire for Spurs, Mourinho described Bale's absence from Tottenham's FA Cup loss against Everton as due to an injury that was not obvious. Here's what he said in full. Quote, "I think it is better for me to say we played against West Brom on the Sunday and he didn't play. He was on the bench. Monday, I was a bit surprised by him wanting to have a scan because he was not feeling comfortable. He didn't train on Monday. Then, on the Tuesday, he trained with the team, but I was informed his desire would be to work with the sports science for a couple of days to strengthen that area where he was not feeling comfortable. That is the reason why he is not here. I don't think it is an obvious injury. I would say he feels uncomfortable, and because of that training session, he couldn't be 100%. Mourinho was then pushed further with a follow-up question asking if he was of the opinion that, Bale is perhaps not playing through the pain, implying he's not as committed as other players, to which Mourinho said, quote, "Gareth was not here, and the only thing I can say is the question I was asked. I wanted to make the situation very clear, which I am being completely open and honest about." Now, in somewhat unlucky timing for Bale, his agent Jonathan Barnett spoke a few days later while at a Financial Times business event about, what's happened to Bale at Spurs. Barnett said, quote, "He's towards the end of his career, so really you have to ask Mourinho that. When they say, what's happened to him? He's won more trophies abroad than any British player in history. He's done very well financially, and he has enough money for the rest of his life. He has a very good lifestyle, so that is what has happened to him." That kind of answer doesn't help, stave off the allegations that he just wanted to collect his paycheck at Real Madrid and didn't really care about football anymore. But beyond that, situation at hand here, Adrian. When you couple these quotes with the situation of him asking for a scan and missing training because of it, despite the medical team saying he is okay to play, both of which occurring in under a week, the quotes and that request for a scan, the timing was just really unfortunate. Based off of comments on social media, on various Reddit threads and news articles, etc., it seems like there was a mixed bag of reactions from Spurs and Real Madrid fans alike in reaction to what Bale said about returning to Real Madrid after this season. Well, that's not true entirely, as it seems like most Real Madrid fans were disappointed to hear that he would be coming back, given how his performances and opportunities had dipped so much at Real Madrid, not to mention his antics on the bench toward the tail end of the 2019-20 season, which ultimately left a bad taste in their mouth. There weren't many that were excited to see him come back. So it wasn't really a mixed bag in that case. But for Spurs fans, there was everything from disappointment to some extremely rational reactions. Of course, there were those who were convinced that they would see Bale back next season, and they still may. It sort of feels like they haven't been able to see the best of him just yet. But apparently Spurs do indeed have the option to have a second loan year with the same sort of terms as this season, again according to Football.London. Those terms are that Tottenham would pay around 40% of his wages in order to keep him away from Real Madrid. Some were disappointed by his comments, others saw them for what they were, and that's sort of where I fall on it. Bale has been in this game for a long time now, and he knows exactly what he can say and what he cannot say when it comes to contracts. I mean, he's been doing this for years at Real Madrid, and on this occasion, he simply stated the facts. His current deal, the only one that is active, as nothing has been agreed for next season, is for him to stay with Spurs this season and then return to Real Madrid. Until the agreement is put in place and signed for next season, he does himself no good in saying that he wants to stay with Tottenham or that he wants to go back to Real Madrid. He doesn't want to upset either club. If the option arises for him to collect the same wages while playing for Tottenham, then it's an option he will explore. But he'll only speak about it when it's on a written contract sitting in front of him. Or after the fact, actually. Because again, he didn't say he wants to go back to Real Madrid. He said that his plan is to go back to Real Madrid. His plan was to come to Tottenham and get some playing time, as there was no way he would get that at Real Madrid under Zidane with the terrible relationship they have. His answer was very much a stating what is on the contract kind of answer. And there is no reason to be upset, to quote an old meme. Now, do I think that Tottenham should take up Real Madrid on a second year of Gareth? I mean, that's largely dependent upon how the rest of the season goes, but it doesn't seem like it will be the greatest option for them. It's a lot of money to drop on a player that is 32 years old, and while still great when in form, still world-class while in form, and has the potential to be a match winner when in form, it's just hard to see a world where it makes sense for Spurs. His appearance record, when looking at La Liga and the Premier League now, has been dwindling season over season, and you'd only expect that to continue. Now, after this long season where he's been stop-start, we've seen how an injury cycle can repeat itself for players, and you throw in the Euros this summer, I don't know. Doesn't seem like the greatest call, in my opinion. As unfortunate as that is. But what are your thoughts? Do you roll the dice and bring him on for another season, or do you let him go back to Real Madrid undisturbed, as per the current agreement as stated by Bale? Let me know your thoughts. My name is Adrian. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to drop a like to make Mr. Algorithm happy so he recommends this to other football fans. But other than that, I wish you well, and I'll see you on Friday for yet another video. Ciao.